Hi and welcome to session 3 of Stretch and Mobility Yoga. So this week we're going to focus on hips. So whether you've been doing all your weekly workouts and you're feeling a bit tight, or whether you just have tight hips in general, hopefully you'll find this class useful and you'll feel a little bit looser and stretchier afterwards. So to do this class you will need some floor space, maybe a mat or a blanket or towel to sit on or kneel on. And you might also need a stretchy band, or if you've got a dressing gown cord or a belt, then that's also useful to have as well for the first part of the class. And excuse the cat, come on, out the way, you move. So that's Leo. So right, so we'll start off lying down on our backs. So to begin with, draw your right knee in towards your chest and then extend the leg up towards the sky, but placing the band around the ball of the foot. So holding onto the band with both hands and then extending the bottom leg out. So you're gradually trying to draw this right leg towards you. So it doesn't matter if you're here, but just as long as you're starting to feel a bit of a stretch in the back of the leg. And I'm going to have to move the cat again. Come on, out the way. Go on. Shoot. Go on. Right. So from here, you could start to extend the bottom leg out for a bit more of a stretch. And you're just gradually trying to relax with the breath and gradually bring the right leg towards you. From here, we're going to take the leg out to the side, so turning the right toes out, placing the left hand on top of the hip, and then just taking the right leg out to the side. So just as far as feels comfortable. If it still feels too intense with the leg extended, then you can always just bend the knee and place the hand to the inside of the knee or the thigh. Hello, cat. And then bring the leg back to center, taking the strap into the left hand, taking the right arm out to the side, and then crossing the leg over the body. So you're not rolling over to the side, trying to keep the back of the hips on the mat and just feeling a bit of a stretch down the outside of the right hip. So if you've been doing a bit of running, you might enjoy this stretch because it can feel quite tight sometimes. And then coming back to center, releasing, changing sides. So taking the left leg in, placing the strap around the ball of the foot, extend the leg up towards the ceiling, trying to straighten through the back of the leg, and then just starting to draw the leg towards you. If you need more of a stretch, then you extend the bottom leg. So just breathing here, gradually trying to bring the left leg a little bit closer towards you. And then to take the leg out to the side, take the strap into the left hand, right hand to the hip, turn the toes out, and then just take the leg out to the left. Just allowing the inner thigh to stretch. And then bring the leg back to center, placing the strap in the right hand, taking the left arm out to the side, crossing the leg over. So you're getting a bit of a stretch down the outside of the left leg. Keeping the back of the hips on the floor. And then coming back to center. So just taking the strap away, taking the feet to the floor, about slightly wider than hip width apart, and then just roll the knees from side to side, just windscreen wipering the legs. And then just rolling over to the side, coming up onto all fours, and then placing the left forearm onto the floor. Right hand stays underneath the right shoulder to support you, and then start to circle through the right hip. So really thinking about the shape of the hip, the ball and socket joint, so just moving from the hip joint all the way around one way and then taking it round the other way. Noticing any tight spots, any points of resistance. And then changing sides. So bring the right forearm down, left hand underneath left shoulder, starting to circle through the hip. So taking one direction, and then the other. So maybe comparing this side to the other side. This side might feel a little bit different, depending on which is your dominant leg. And then bring the left leg down. From here, taking the knees fairly wide, toes to touch, and just starting to circle through the hips. So bring the hips down towards the heels, coming slightly forward over the wrists, and then back round, and then change directions. And then coming back up to center. So from here, coming up into kneeling, and then taking the left leg forwards, reaching the right arm up and placing the hand between the shoulder blades. Bring the left hand to the right elbow, just leaning over to the left. So pressing the right hip forward, stretching through the right side of the body, and then release out. From here, bring the hands to the floor, to the inside of the left foot, and then walking the left foot out slightly. Starting to rock forwards and backwards through the hips, finding a bit of fluidity. So we're coming into this moving stretch before we come into a static version. And coming forwards, tucking the back toes under. You might lift the back knee. You can always keep it down if that felt enough. So really pressing out through the back heel, keeping the left shoulder in contact with the left knee, and then lowering the back knee. So walking the foot back between the hands, bring the hands onto the left knee, and then reaching the arms up towards the sky, sinking down into the right hip for the hip flexor stretch. And then coming out. So change sides, bring the right foot forward. So knee over ankle, reach the left arm up, hand between the shoulder blades, right hand holds on to left elbow, and then leaning over to the right. Keep pressing the left hip forward. And then coming out, bring the hands to the inside of the right foot, walking the right foot out, and then just rocking forwards and back. You might be on fingertips. You might even place your hands on a couple of books or some cans or something like that if you just want to bring the floor a little bit closer. And then coming forwards, hands to the floor, tucking the toes under, lifting the back knee if that feels appropriate. Coming into a lizard stretch. And then lower the back knee down. Walking the right foot back between the hands, hands to the knee, coming up into the hip flexor stretch, sinking the hips down, keeping the back toes tucked under maybe if the knee's a bit sensitive, so you can take a little bit of weight out of it, and then reaching the arms up towards the sky, lifting up tall, and then lowering the hands back down again. Just bring the right leg back, pausing for a moment, and then coming up. So now we're going to take the left leg out to the side. So the heel is in line with the knee, and the knee's drawing out. Place the left forearm down to rest on top of the thigh, and then reaching the right hand up and just leaning over to the left. So using the left arm to keep drawing that leg out. For more of a stretch, you could start to lower the arm down. Maybe the fingertips will come to the floor. Maybe you can take the whole hand to the floor. But just only going as far as feels appropriate for your body. And then coming back up, changing sides. So bring the right leg out, heel in line with the knee. Right knee draws out, right hip presses forward. Bring the forearm to rest on the thigh and inhale, reach the left arm up. Leaning over to the right, stretching all down the side body. Taking one more deep breath here. And then releasing out. Oops, seagulls. Okay, so coming into downward facing dog now. So bring the hands to the floor, tucking the back toes under, press the hips back towards the heels, and then start to lift up on tiptoes, lifting up all the way, and then lowering the heels one at a time, maybe pedaling out through the back of the legs. And then coming in to a one-legged dog, so raising the right leg, reaching it up towards the ceiling or the sky, wherever you are. And then you're going to bring the right foot between the hands. So to do this, you would draw the right knee in towards the chest, really pressing the floor away, looking forward, and then step the right foot through. If that feels a bit much, you can always come down back onto the knees and just step the right foot forward like this instead. So everyone should be in a lunge with the back knee raised. So bringing the hands to rest on the front thigh and then raising the arms up towards the ceiling, the sky. And then just bending and straightening the back leg, just seeing how it feels. If you're feeling quite tight, you might not be able to fully straighten the back leg, but just easing into it. And then holding here, we're reaching up tall with the arms. Deep breath in, and then exhaling, bring the hands down, stepping back either into downward dog, or you could come into child's pose with the knees on the floor like this. So everyone coming back into downward dog, and then raising the left leg, coming into split dog, and then either dropping the knees and stepping through, or drawing the knee into the chest, looking forward and stepping the left foot towards the hands. Coming into a high lunge, bring the hands onto the knees, coming all the way up, reaching the arms, and then just bending the back knee and then straightening. Bend the back knee and straighten. I'm just doing this a few times, just noticing how it feels on this side. And then holding here, reaching up tall. And then bringing the arms down, stepping towards the front, towards the hands. Coming up halfway, hands to the knees or the shins, looking forward. Exhaling, folding all the way down over the legs. And then soft bending the knees, coming all the way up. And bring the hands to the chest. So, stepping out to the side, come into triangle stretch. So turning the right toes out. The left toes can either be facing straight forwards or turning in slightly, maybe 45 degrees. From here, inhale, raise the arms. And then exhale as you reach as far forward as you can. And then finally, just allowing that right hand to hold on to the right shin or ankle, and then the left arm reaches up towards the sky. So really pressing that left hip forward, drawing the right hip back, opening the chest up towards the ceiling. And then coming back up again. Right toes turn in, left toes turn out. And then reaching forward with the left arm, Bring the left hand down to the shin or the ankle, reaching the right arm up and coming into triangle on the other side. So really pressing the feet down, drawing the right hip back, and then coming back up, hands to the waist, and then just heel toeing the feet back in. Coming into a balance, so taking the weight into the left foot, and then drawing the right knee up towards the chest, maybe holding onto the front of the knee, standing tall, and then bring the right hand to the inside of the knee, keeping the knee joint closed. You just take the leg out to the side. From here you can bring the foot into the inner thigh in tree pose. If you can't quite bring it to the inner thigh, you could bring it to the shin or to the ankle with the toes on the floor. So that's good for balance. And then wherever you are, just bring the hands together in front of the chest, pressing the palms together, and breathe. Trying to keep the breath slow and steady, even if you feel a bit wobbly. So keep drawing the right knee back, pressing the right hip forward. And then coming out, changing sides. So taking the weight into the right foot, drawing the left knee up, standing tall, and then start to draw the left knee out to the side, and then bring the foot into your tree pose, wherever that might be for you. Bring the hands together, pressing them. Don't worry if you wobble or if you fall out, just come straight back in. And then drawing the left knee back, pressing the left hip forward. Taking one more breath here. And then coming out. So coming to stand, side on, inhaling, reaching the arms up. Exhaling, folding down forwards. Inhale, coming up halfway. And then exhale, bring the hands down to the floor, stepping back into downward dog. And then coming into pigeon pose. So taking the right knee to the back of the right wrist. So right knee's out to the side and the right leg, the lower half of the right leg is angling across your body. So your right foot is out on the left side. So start to walk the left foot out behind you, left leg, just making sure that it's going in a straight line out behind you, and either staying up on the fingertips or the hands. Also just being mindful about the knee joint. If you feel any pain in this position, then you can always come down to lie on your back instead and take thread the needle pose like this. So just protect the knee. Not everyone likes this position. If this feels quite comfortable though, you could maybe come down onto the elbows or maybe rest the forehead down onto the hands. And just really think about relaxing through the back of the hips. Feeling a bit of a stretch down the outside of the right hip maybe. And then coming back up again. So bring the hands under the shoulders, tuck the back toes under, and then step it back into downward dog. Changing sides, so taking the left knee to the back of the left wrist, lower left leg angles across the body, and then walking the back foot out, just checking that it's going straight out behind you, and then either staying here or coming down onto the forearms or forehead to the back of the hands, and just try and relax as much as you can. So try not to roll over to one side, keeping the back of the hips level. And then coming back up again. So just rolling over onto the left hip, bring the right leg up and round to extend the legs out in front of you. Coming into a twist, so draw the right leg in and then cross the right foot to the outside of the left knee. Bring the right hand behind you on fingertips, lift and lengthen through the spine, lifting the left arm up, inhale deeply, and then exhale, wrapping the left arm around the front of the right knee. So really pressing down into that right foot, drawing the knee in towards the chest, and maybe just turning to look over the right shoulder if that's okay for your neck, or just looking over your left shoulder if that feels better for you. And then releasing out, changing sides, drawing the left knee in, crossing the foot over to the outside of the right knee. Bring the left hand behind you on fingertips, inhale, lift and lengthen the spine, reaching the right arm up, and then wrap the right arm around the front of the leg. So pressing down into the left foot, drawing the left knee in towards you, and either looking over the shoulder or just straight towards your right foot. So on each inhalation, trying to lengthen through the spine. On each exhalation, just drawing that left knee in, maybe turning a little bit more. And then coming back to center. So bring the hands from behind you here, walking the toes in, and then just maybe lifting the legs parallel with the floor, coming into a variation of boat pose. So a little bit of ab work. If you like, you could also reach the arms forward, but if this hurts your lower back, just keep the hands to the floor. You could even just bring the toes back to the floor. A couple of breaths here. And then bring the feet to the floor, just letting the knees drop out to the side so the soles of the feet are together. So cobbler's pose. Bring the hands behind you. Inhale, lift the chest, maybe lifting the hips up and walking them a little bit closer towards the heels. Move the knees up and down a little bit to find a bit of extra space in the hips. If this feels okay for you, you can hold on to the ankles or the feet, and using the elbows to draw the knees out to the side, you can start to fold forward. But only do this if you're able to sit up out of the hips. If you find that you're starting to round through the lower back, then just keep the hands behind you and concentrate on just lengthening through the spine instead. Don't worry about how high or low the knees are, because they'll open up in their own time. Coming back into boat pose, so either hands behind you, feet on the floor, or lifting the legs, maybe raising the arms. If you really want to challenge yourself, you can extend the legs out and have a little bit of a shake. And otherwise, just bring the feet back to the floor now, and then taking the feet out wide. So you're now in a wide leg stance. So bring the hands behind you, sitting up tall, up out of the hips as much as you can, either staying here, this is enough, or you could start to fold forwards. So you're trying to keep the toes pointing up towards the ceiling or the sky, and drawing, spiraling the thighs outwards. So on each exhalation, maybe just trying to relax a little bit deeper into the posture. On the inhalation, you could maybe engage the quads a little bit, thigh muscles. And then on the exhalation, just release them, and maybe you might be able to find a little bit more stretch. And then slowly coming back. So coming into one final round of boat pose. So lifting the legs, maybe raising the arms. Slow, steady breaths. And then coming back to the floor, extending the legs out in front of you now. Coming into forward fold. So again, hands behind you, inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, start to fold forwards over the legs. If you feel tight at all in your lower back or hamstrings, you can always bend the knees and just bring the upper body to make contact with the thighs. You could also take your strap, if you've got it to hand, place it around the feet and just hold on to it to use it as a bit of resistance to help pull you down. If that feels too much, you can always just stay upright and just work on pressing out through the balls of the feet. And then releasing, having to lie on the back, taking one round of bridge pose just to stretch out the front of the body, so feet hip width apart, pressing the feet down into the floor. Inhale, lift the hips up, maybe walk the shoulders underneath you to get a little bit more height. Taking a few long slow breaths here, drawing the knees towards the top of the side of the room in front of you. And then lowering back down again. And now crossing the right ankle over the left thigh, drawing the right knee out. And then you could start to draw the left knee in, maybe catching the back of the thigh, maybe holding onto the front of the shin, coming in to thread the needle, just letting the head rest on the floor. And then bring the left foot back down. You might need your strap for this. So drawing the right knee in, flexing the foot up towards the ceiling, and either catching hold of the outside of the right foot with the right hand to come into half happy baby, or you could also use your strap to hold on to it like that. So just trying to have the foot facing straight up as if you were standing on the ceiling. You could always bring the left leg out. And then coming out, changing sides, so drawing the left knee in, crossing the ankle over the right thigh, drawing the right leg in, catching hold of the back of the thigh or the shin. Keep drawing that left knee out, flexing through the left ankle as well. And then bring the right foot down, flexing the left foot up towards the ceiling, either catching hold of the outside of the foot or using your strap to draw the knee down towards the outside of the left shoulder, half happy baby, maybe extending the bottom leg out. And then letting go. Now, either bringing the soles of the feet together, letting the knees drop out to the side, and then reaching the arms up over the head, holding opposite elbows in this recline cobbler's pose, nice relaxing pose. Although if this doesn't feel good for you, you could always just extend the legs out and come into regular resting pose instead. So wherever you are, just softening the breath, just allowing the hips to relax, shoulders, face, everything completely relaxed. And then either spending a good 5 minutes or so in this position, just completely relaxing, or if it's time for you to get on with your day, then just drawing the knees one at a time in towards the chest, giving them a little hug, maybe rocking from side to side, and then just rolling over onto your side, slowly coming up to sit in whatever position feels comfortable, bringing the hands together in front of you. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, sigh out of the mouth. Namaste. Thank you very much for practicing. Have a lovely day.